The person I'm about to interview is my friend Rick Goldberg. He is a graduate student at Adelphi University. He has a master's in astrophysics and is going for his doctorate.
What are the goals and objectives of this mission?
Well, I'm very glad you asked that question because the objectives are obviously the reason we're going, the reason we're funding this kind of thing. It's because not only are we trying to find out things about Mars to find out things about Mars, but because when you find something about a planet that is similar to our own planet, it helps our planet in the long run. At the same time, it's just, I guess it's curiosity, really. I mean, who isn't curious about if there's life on Mars, if there is or isn't water sustaining life, because where there's water, there's life. All those different things, they all really matter, and I think that's really what this mission is all about.
How does this rover work?
The rover Curiosity works, well, there's a lot of components to it, but basically it runs on a RT generator. With natural decay of plutonium, electricity is generated because it's such a powerful element base. That's basically kind of how it works. And the generator is fueled by that, so the electricity is pretty much almost endless, really. It has backup generators, and there's a bunch of different components that go into it, but it's pretty much all run by this generator, RTG, radio isotope thermoelectric generator.
Where does it get this plutonium from?
Well, it's almost like, all right, when you have a remote to your TV and you put in AA batteries, it's like that. The plutonium is like a battery, except it's a generator and not a Duracell.
Do you think that going to Mars is the right path for NASA to be taking, and how could it be beneficial to us in the long run?
I mean, most people disregard these kind of things because, oh, I mean, it's Mars and it's not Earth. Like, we should be focusing on Earth because that's where we live, and I agree with that to some extent. But Mars is important too, because just because we live on Earth doesn't mean that all the other planets in the solar system, in the universe, in the galaxies are meaningless. They have meaning. Knowing about them, just having knowledge of them, helps us with future innovations. Knowing things about Mars, maybe like one day, I mean, obviously this isn't going to happen for a long time, but one day Earth might not exist. So we need to know how to adapt to other climates on other planets if we have to. We need to be able to just simply have the technology to do these kind of things, to move up in the future, not just so we can go to other planets, but so we can help ourselves on our own planet. Discovering things like how climate works on other planets and whether there's water or life helps us figure out how life, comes to be. I mean, let's say we did find life on Mars and it's new life, we can easily track the origins rather than tracking the origins of the human race, which has been around for a while and we don't have recorded history for so long, so it takes forever and we don't really know for sure about everything. Whereas if it's life that's kind of new, we can easily date it and figure out maybe how life spawns, how, I mean, obviously we already know where there's water, there's life, so that's why there's the theories that Mars has life, as well as Io, which is a planet, or I'm sorry, a moon that orbits another planet in the solar system that also has water. And we have these theories that if there's life on there, we can use that to our advantage for our studies, for innovations for the future. And I think it's really important that we do things like this. I mean, I can understand when the government maybe cuts back on, funding NASA because of the economic downturn. But, I mean, these things are important. They do have meaning. I think knowing the information, just having the knowledge, knowledge is golden. Knowledge is golden. And just having it, I think, will help humanity as a whole. And it's interesting. I mean, really, it's an interesting phenomenon. Like,
that's why you're majoring in it, right?
Exactly, of course. I mean, also I'm good at it, of course. But it's something that very few people seem to be able to do, to be interested in. And so I take pride in being someone that contributes to this study, to this kind of research. Maybe I'm not an astronaut, so I'm not the one actually stepping foot on the moon or Mars or whatever, but being a part of it is pretty satisfying. I don't know, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just, I think it's important just simply because it helps us more than just knowing about other planets. It helps us build our knowledge in general, and helps us with innovations for the future. So with future rocket and nuclear technology and biofuels, like all these things are used for missions to Mars and, you know, Venus and the moon and all these other places. We can use that here to generate biofuels to run cars, you know, like with electric cars, to run this lamp, to run anything, to run it's and more than just that. I mean, the Curiosity rover has a robotic arm. That could be something that's very helpful for perhaps building a robot. You know, I mean, you see these movies where these robots doing things for people, and it's kind of nice. You know, so there are things like just innovations. That's what it's about. It's about innovation. So that's why I think it's important.